Welcome to our first ever episode of SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Brought to you by and TOA. Though I am only one of the two bald brothers, still bringing you good content. All right, we're ready to dive into this. I hope all is well wherever you are. We want to dive right into the content, talking about Suitcase Carry in an analysis type of style that our industry uses called SWOT, where you look at a movement and or a research project or a research article or a research topic. You look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. And basically, those are usually utilized in a research kind of protocol, but we're kind of twisting it and taking a look at the movements itself, because I think it provides us a lot of really good information and a lot of good opportunities to talk about said information in a pretty organized fashion. So when we look at the Suitcase Carry, what we were talking about, and I will attempt to do a screen share and show you a video of what I'm talking about here in just a second, though I'm not quite certain I've worked out all my kinks yet on my new tech here on how to do so. We were talking about a proper pickup of a implement, kettlebell, dumbbell, fat bell, sandbag, whatever it is you're carrying, securing it properly to the side of your body, carrying it or transferring it to another location, successfully putting it back down, turning around, properly picking it up with the other hand, and then carrying it back. This variation of movement is something that gives us an opportunity to basically apply a real life strength, a real life technique for our clients in-house. And we want to look at it a little bit deeper and see what exactly are we getting out of this? How great is this value? And should we maybe be using it more or less with our clientele? So without further ado, let me attempt and see if I can do this, which I think I'm successfully doing. So we're going to drop in our video of Joan here. And where is she? Here we go. Let's take a look. See here, a good proper pickup position. Now Joan has had a stroke maybe 8 years ago now, and has a section of her torso and her body that do not function and work all that well, but also a even bigger reason for us to practice this technique. Now you can see with the proper pickup, butt down, head and chest up, securing the weight to the right, and then look at her gait variation. Notice like a little bit of a stagger and a wobble. Notice the weight flopping around at her side a little bit, not as locked in or secured as we'd like. The grip is a little bit loose as well, and you can see that side to side wobble variation, but a fairly decent put down and a pretty good strategy on picking up and putting down this implement. So when we're looking at the strength variations that you are going to get from a Suitcase Carry, the first one that we see right away is that it's real life. You are definitely getting an exercise that's going to bring forth strength values that we are going to use on a regular basis. And I know everybody goes to the groceries right away, but think of everything else that you pick up and you carry throughout your day. This is a pretty good one to have. Now, we will hear arguments often for the farmer carry. Okay, notice I don't say walk. I don't say suitcase walk. I'm not a huge fan of the term walk in terms of carrying load. It's a different variation. It's a different gait. It's a different technique. Walking versus a gated carry, right? A loaded carry. So that's why I like to use that term after. It means that I'm picking up weight and moving with it. This is a loaded carry. It's not a walk. Okay. So in the Suitcase Carry, the farmer carry, you're picking up 2 weights or we're picking up 1. Now, I think you get a greater value, a greater return, as I'll attempt to sway you through this whole discussion here, on carrying just 1 weight and not both. Now, where you can get some great value out of the farmer carry is to carry uneven loads. 30 pounds in one hand, 15 in the other. 40 pounds in one hand, 20 in the other, something along those lines. And I think that way you still get great practice and you do get some counter loading by having weight on both sides. Both sides get to be tight. Both sides get to be engaged. The opportunity for waddle or unsecure stepping is a little bit less. However, you still have a load on the other side, and that gives the tippiness of the body and the core and the trunk an opportunity to counterweight with that other load. So I guess I would say that's probably the best of both worlds, but I still value the suitcase carry a little bit more, because more times than often we're going to pick up something and there's only going to be one of those somethings, and we will typically have to carry it in one hand or the other, one hip, one arm, one side or the other. And I think this is where we get a lot of our good return on strength and technique. Now, you are going to get a great opportunity to build the strength on the opposite side too. You think about carrying weight in your right hand. As I hold that weight, I'm trying not to tip forward or tip back, but mostly I'm trying not to either give into the weight and lean to the side of the load, or overcompensate and lean away where the weight now kind of rubs on my hip while I'm carrying it. So if I'm holding in my right hand, I'm getting an opportunity to develop my left QL, quadratus laborum, my left erectors up my spine, my left external oblique, internal oblique, my trunk, my hip flexor, my glute, basically the whole left side stabilizer that's going to anti-lateral flex or anti-lateral lean, right? Either side, to allow me to stabilize that load, maintain that load, and transport it forward, back, or wherever I'm carrying. So great opportunity there. And then the gait challenge is one that I think I've had or seen the best return with. You saw in that video, assuming you guys got to see it, hopefully it wasn't just a blank screen the whole time. I won't know until I play it back. Again, still figuring out Prezi and all my cameras and everything. I'll get better, I promise, if it didn't come up. As we start to move and locomote, if you will, locomotion, our trajectory of our bodies going forward, ideally, we should have 3 of our personal foot lengths between our back left heel and our front right toe. Meaning your left foot, your right foot, and in between it, another one of your feet. Not 12 inches, not a foot, your foot. So if your foot is 10 inches, then you should have 10, 20, 30 inches of length from the back of your left heel to the front of your right toe. That's just kind of a ballpark on where a normal, like in action gait, walking gait is. I'm walking down the driveway to go get the mail. That's the kind of length that we're talking about. Now, if you've had a stroke, if you've had an injury, if you've had something come about that has changed or altered that gait, we will see it, number one. You'll develop asymmetries, meaning one side stronger or more coordinated, the other side a little weaker, less coordinated, etc. When we start to carry load on one side, we can fix a lot of these asymmetries. Your body can learn how to counter and engage and connect that core strength and keep that load in one place. We don't have a whole lot of movement. There's not a whole lot of action going on. It's not like an extension and an flexion and a big row and a big push. We're just kind of holding while we carry and create a gait when we have weight in hand, when we go from walking to a loaded carry, that's maybe 2.5 of our regular feet. So if we're 10 inches, you would have 10, 25 inches as opposed to 30 from heel to toe. Now, why is that? We want to shorten down the gait just a little bit because we're now carrying this heavier load. We need to stabilize this load. So we need to shrink the base, lower the center of mass just a hair, okay? Not so much where we're taking such a long stride length that if we hit our heel contact, that now there's too much load or we're out of position that the heel strike actually pushes us back. So we shorten it just a little bit. Now, a lot of people go, hey, wait. You're the one that's always saying we take these little tiny steps. If we take a longer step, a wider step, then we'll have a better base. Yes. Again, I'm talking about going from 10-inch steps, okay, to 25-inch steps, but ultimately 30. Now, we see a lot of our older clients, especially if they're untrained, taking these little tiny shuffling, waddling steps. I'm saying we got to get bigger than that. But there is such a thing as too big. And your traditional gait, your regular stride as you are walking through, as soon as we add load to it, we now are carrying more than our regular body weight. So we have to put an extra oomph in our effort to carry our stride over the front leg, the block leg, as we follow through. If there's too much weight, we will block the front foot and literally stop or go backwards, okay? So that's why in many cases when you pick up something heavy, you don't take a 30-inch step on your first stride or even your second. You probably won't at all. You'll take much smaller little steps so you can stabilize and maintain that load while you carry it. Think you're moving boxes out of the garage and you pull them off the shelf and you're hugging them, you're not going to take a 30-inch step with each. You're going to go 10, 10, 10, 10 until you kind of get into motion and you get going and you get your rhythm, and then you might start to open it up again. But would it be your regular gait? I don't think so. That heavy load has to be maintained, stabilized, and propelled through motion, and usually we can't do that. If I'm used to just moving 240, now I'm moving more, we got to shorten a little bit, okay? Trying my best to keep these short so I don't lose people, but I can just talk, guys, forever. Okay, let's look at some of the weaknesses. Basics is kind of the opposite of a lot of the things we just talked about. First one, a great weakness you can have, or a limiting function of this lift, is your grip strength. If you have poor grip strength, we're not going to be able to carry a whole lot. In many cases, when you do carry something, you have both hands on it, so you could either work with your dominant arm or your dominant grip, and the other one just kind of suffers, and you know, the stronger arm will make up for it or overcompensate. But when there's one hand carry only, there's no hiding this. Right? You're going to have the opportunity to showcase grip strength or not. So this may be the limiting factor, but this also kind of falls into a strength. I don't want to bury my lead here by going into this, but you will have the opportunity to develop this grip strength. So it might suffer in the beginning. This definitely could be seen as a weakness. On the opposite of that is, as we spoke earlier, that opposite side, core strength. Now, if you're trying to carry a certain load and you can for a certain distance, but you start to fatigue, what's going to fatigue first? Is it going to be my grip strength? Is it going to be my shoulder stabilizers, my shoulder girdle? Or is it going to be my opposite side core strength that's going to start to give in, that's going to start to fade, that's going to start to collapse? It's going to be my hips being able to hold my posture upright and traject me in the direction that I'm going. We just will see. In many cases, it's the trunk. It's that the core isn't strong enough. And you'll see two things. The person will start to lean to the weight, and you'll see this wobble as they are walking, or they will start to counter lean, in which the weight will start clipping their thigh, hitting their knee, banging around on their thigh. They won't be able to control it. They're doing just anything they can to hang on to this and get it to where you, the coach, said to get it to. So these are things we need to pay attention to. The grip could fatigue, the shoulder girdle strength could fatigue, the core and the opposite side strength definitely could fatigue. And then you're going to start to see some center of mass / coordination limitations that will come about. You definitely saw it with Joan there, suffering from the stroke. Her body's right side coordination and strength and stability just isn't as efficient as the left side. And in many other injuries and limitations, if clients have gone through any kind of chemo, if they've gone through any major surgeries, a hip replacement, a knee replacement, back surgery, they have sciatica, all these things. Sciatica will drastically affect your gait in terms that you won't be able to take a very long stride on your troubled side. Let's say it's my left side, I'll take a 20-inch step, and then on my right side, I'll take a 36-inch step, just because my sciatic nerve is so locked down and pinched. And so you may see variations of this as you're going through. And in doing so, what is the answer? Like, how do we fix that? You always train to the limitation. You train to the weakest link. So if my left side can only step 20 inches, I want to match that on my right side until I can develop the strength on the left side, the stability, the coordination on the left side, to be able to increase it to 25 inches on each side, and then 30, and then 36 eventually is where I want to end up. Me personally at 39. I wear 13s, 13-inch foot, so I want to be able to get up to 39 inches, right, as I'm going through. So my concern here is that we're going to see some weaknesses come about, but by doing the lift, maybe with a little bit lighter weight, more often, shorter bouts, we should start to transition those weaknesses into strengths. And then looking at the opportunity to develop in certain areas. First one is you're going to get to develop that grip, as we discussed there, that grip strength, simply by carrying. But how can we improve that? Think about continually crushing down or flexing the hand down. Well, we're only as strong or as good as our weakest link in this case. And in most cases, it's extension of the hand that is one of our limits. So that's where you'll see those Iron Mind rubber bands or any of those little bands that go around your fingers, and you can do your extension strength by getting the back side of your hand, the extensors in the forearm stronger. Your grip strength itself will definitely increase and improve as well. So look into that. Your shoulder girdle strength, I call it in traction, like I'm pulling my shoulders in, tightening everything in. Try looking at some muscular hangs. Now, this doesn't have to be somebody hanging from a pull-up bar. This could literally be grabbing onto a TRX, taking 2 steps forward, leaning back, at a 15%, 20%, lean incline, and muscularly holding in an inverted row position or a reclined row position. These muscular hangs, these muscular engagements, your ability to just hold two weights in a farmer carry, but not carry. Just hold, just isometrically hold. You can do it seated, you could do it standing. I prefer everybody to be up and about and be on their feet and be as functional as you can in training. But if it's a limitation, just hold weights and retract those shoulders to the neutral position, not over retract. We're not peacocking, right? Just pull to neutral, hold tight, and develop that girdle strength that allows the frame of the upper body to be strong and be stable and be able to carry and manage these loads. And then with cross-sectional strength, as we kind of talked a little bit about the sciatica and such, like if you guys think of a bird dog position, okay? I'm in 6-point position on the floor, 2 hands, 2 knees, 2 toes. And if I extend my right leg and my left arm, so opposite arm and leg, that muscular activation, that pattern, that signal that goes on in my body to say, extend your left arm and extend your right leg via the glute, okay, and through the hamstring, etc. That muscular pattern that is performed in the 6-point position on the floor is almost identical to what is done when I'm standing upright and taking a stride length, okay? Almost. Now it's different because of the angle of attack, where we're going, etc. But as far as the musculatures that are engaged to help me produce that movement pattern, if I do opposite arm, opposite leg, and I continue to switch, and you looked at that activation when I'm walking through space, they are almost the same. And so if I can practice my bird dogs, but also build strength in my body's ability to extend and work through these bigger ranges of motion on the floor, then I can transfer it into my ability to carry load. Now, you'll see somebody in the 6-point position be able to extend their right leg out completely straight, but not their left. Reach their left arm up all the way to parallel, horizontal, right? Or to in line with their ears in a horizontal action there, and be able to say, hey, this is straight, but my right arm can't quite get there. Now, we'll see very similar limitations when they are then walking. So by increasing the frequency of suitcase carry, working on that asymmetry on the one side, just carrying this load and increasing, finding a consistent gait length and stride, we can start to improve some of those asymmetries that are going to be seen everywhere, not only in the gait, not only in the bird dog, but in step-up patterns and up and down off the floor, lunging patterns, rowing patterns. We can start to develop a lot there. So this gives us a pretty good opportunity to work on a lot of things in just one simple loaded carry on this one side. So strength and stability alike. And then some of the threats that we have in here, these are pretty common, pretty simple, but just picking up and putting down weight, we're almost always going to expose the lower back if you're not doing it properly to pick it up and to put it down. There is a chance of some injury there. We are going to put some stress at the shoulder. And if you're not muscularly engaged at the wrist, at the elbow, at the shoulder girdle, and engaging and holding tight, what I call the gunslinger position. Like I want to see your hands next to the hip, like ready to draw and fire, right? And you're in that high noon position. Like we want to kind of be in that position and muscularly locked in to secure those joints under this load. But we just let it dangle and we allow, the ligaments in the shoulder and the elbow to just carry that load, injury will occur. So we could expose this. Now, you might be able to start with it pretty well engaged and feeling pretty good. And then as fatigue kicks in, we're either going to compensate or it's just going to fail. And from there, injury is bound to occur. So be aware of that. And then excessive loading is going to create some instability with just general locomotion, meaning if they're trying to carry too much weight, they won't be able to perform the gait like they would like. Instead of the 30 inches, we're shooting for 25. Well, now maybe it's 20, 25, 20, 25, and they're wobbling. Well, we've created that because we're carrying too much load. If you were to lighten it a little bit, then they could probably carry it pretty efficiently, not have a huge issue, but be able to get some good success out of it, okay? All right, gang, so that is a overall look at the SWOT analysis, if you will, from TOA on the suitcase carry. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some good things to take away. We'd like to, as always, thank our affiliates and our ambassadors of our program here. Hyperwear, if you guys are interested in getting any loaded vests or any sandbags or any sandbells please head over to them. Use TOA15. You'll get 15% off. Let me remind you all, I don't make any money off of this. These are simply companies that I believe in their product. They believe in me and my content, and we are partners in delivering you this. So they give us a code to allow you, one of my listeners, our support team, an opportunity to save a little bit of money. So use TOA15 for that. Muscle Butter, USA.com. It is a arnica anti-inflammatory muscle rub. It's my absolute favorite. I go through one of the professional size jars every month. I use on myself and on my clients, my wife, my family. We all use it. It's a 60% arnica, where you're not usually going to find that in a lot of very common arnicas you would find in grocery stores and such. So it's a great smelling product. It's a lovely product. It's pretty much the only one that I will use. No, hot or cold sensations to it. It smells nice. Many arnicas do not, and it doesn't ruin your clothes or any of that. So check them out. Use Linkle20, get 20% off there. Angles 90, our favorite anti-arthritic grips that you get to use. Their pulley system, their suspension straps, they have great products. You can check them out at angles90.com. Use Linkle10 for 10% discount there. And Live Bearded, for all of you out there rocking the beard, the stash. If you need wax, if you need beard butter, if you need shampoo, you need conditioners, deodorant, body bars, wash, anything. They've got every great product you can think about there, and wonderful scents. I'm a Gunslinger man myself. Sweet tobacco and cedar. You guys will love it. The Executive is nice. 1880 is nice. I have quite a few of them. Maui's a beautiful one. Oh, the dreaded Pirate Jake. Oh, is a good one. They're awesome. The new coffee one I just got was great. They have seasonal ones. Anyhow, check them out. Use Bulky Beard. You get 10% off there. And those are our affiliates. Thank you to all of you. So we appreciate you being here and giving us some of your time and information in terms of asking questions and going through this. Anything that I can do to follow up with you, give you more info, help you out, point you in the right direction, please let me know. Message below. Head over to trainingtheolderadult.com. You can always check out more information there. We have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. We're available all over the place. We love and appreciate all of you, and thank you very much for being here. As I always like to say, I can give you back your money, I can give you back your product, but I cannot give you back your time, and you invested some of your time listening to me today. I do not take that for granted. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. All my best. Take care.